Hey, Tony Gas is here. I want to remind you about standards. And this is something that I think a lot of times we struggle with as humans, as people, because you want to give, you want to help, you want to serve. And it's really a fine line between helping and hindering. It comes a time to where your help can become a hindrance if you don't understand when you're giving too much and a person or a group or a company or whoever it is taking advantage. And if you're not paying attention to your heart and you're not paying attention to when you start to feel drained and when you start to feel used and when you start to feel unappreciated, now you're giving from an empty well. So there's no good in that giving because you're not giving from a glad heart. You're giving from a place of bitterness. You're giving from a place of resentment. And that'll hurt you more than it will help you. So you have to understand when it comes to your standards is you got to set standards for your life in every area of your life. So in business, you set standards, meaning if you are running a company, building a company, or doing something, entrepreneurial, if you work a job in the corporate world and you're negotiating your salary, how many hours you work, your pay, your benefits. So in business, in friendship, if you are giving and you're showing up and you're doing and you're helping and you're loving and you're protecting, providing, whatever it may be, you're being a great friend, you got to make sure that you are also getting the same in return and that the person is there for you and they'll ride for you how you ride for them. In a romantic relationship, you got to set standards so that when you're serving and you're loving and you're giving, that it's being reciprocated. With your children, you got to set standards so that they understand what you expect from them and what they have to do, what they have to produce, and you understand what you have to give them and how you have to show up in their life. And so we have to be able to do that, and a lot of times we don't. And with your church or any extracurricular groups, you got to make sure you're not being ran in the ground. You're not being overworked. You're not being mistreated. You're not being dogged out. And people are just using you because you are always a ready-made yes. You're always a yes. Anytime somebody has something to say, you're a yes. And it comes time to where you'll move stuff around, you'll over-sacrifice, you'll do too much, you'll give too much, and you're saying yes, 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 when you should have said no. So you have to have standards in your life in every area of your life. And last but not least, and really this could be first, is standards for yourself. You got to know who you are, what you want, and what you're capable of, and you got to be willing to go get it. You got to be willing to set standards for yourself to say, okay, I know I can read this amount of books. I know I can write this amount of books. I know I can earn this much money. I know I can start this kind of business. I know I can lose this amount of weight or gain this amount of weight. I know I could change this and change that, break this habit, break that habit. Like, you have to set standards for yourself, create a plan, get an accountability partner if you can, and then work towards it. And when you set these standards in every area of your life, you cannot be willing to compromise, because that would be an unhealthy compromise if you compromise your standards, which you know are fair. And so that's one of the mistakes we make as people, just not having standards, not knowing how or when to say no. And what happens is, instead of saying no consistently or on a regular basis to things that will break us down, use us, drain us, instead of saying no, we say yes, and then we start to build up resentment. We start to harbor this resentment, and then one day we snap. One day we go off the handle and we get out of character, and it costs us everything. And really, it's not their fault, it's our fault, because we allowed it to get to that point to where if we would have said no, honestly, they wouldn't even have cared. They really expected no because they're telling people no. But if you're going to keep saying yes, they're going to keep asking because it's a yes. But when you say no, then now they figure out how to get it done. They figure out a way to do it without you, and they know now to respect you and to come correct, and to come with attitude of gratitude, and to come with the proper thanks and the proper situation for you, so that you know you're needed, you're loved, you're appreciated, you're respected, and they see your value, and you can feel that. And so that's how they'll approach you. So you can't be afraid of a no. You can't be afraid if 10 things come to the table and 9 of them are no's. You can't worry about that, because it's about your standards. And as long as your standards are not rooted in arrogance or conceit, then you know you're not operating from the wrong place. So hey, it's Tony Gaskins. God bless you. We'll talk soon.